Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, good people? Peace and love, peace and love. Happy Thursday, happy, thankful, thriving, and therapeutic Thursday. Back again with another episode of back with another episode of SR Daily. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston, and you are tuned into episode 517 episodes in, closing out on, coming up on the close of week 104. QB Community Builders, what's going on, Auntie? Peace and love, peace and love. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you here. Always good to see you here. Always good to see you here. Yeah, what's the deal, man? Life is interesting, man. It's been an interesting week. Yesterday was a beautiful, interesting day. All right. Yeah, there's a lot going on, man. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful just for the opportunity to be, grateful for the opportunity to live, to live in purpose, to live with purpose, to pursue purpose, to strategize, to organize, man, to create. All right. I'm grateful to have a purpose, like not just to live in my purpose, but to matter to other people. I matter to others. I matter to young people. Young people love me. All right. And that is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be loved by family, right? By friends. But when young people who you just met love you, right? Young people who don't need to love you, right? Love you and express that love. And I'm grateful for your presence in their life and the gifts that you bring. Right. Yesterday, at Echoes, so Wednesday, I do the thing with Echoes of Incarceration, the young filmmaking organization. Do meditation with them and just like bring the whole mindfulness aspect to the art. One of the young brothers, man, he's been around for like 2 years. He said something. He said, "Yo, your meditation is like, mind you, it's always a short meditation, like 5 to 8 minutes. It's never a longer meditation because we got creating to do, right? Making films and taking photos and doing interviews, and so but it's always a short meditation during our opening circle, right? To just ground us, get us on the same page, get us in sync, so that then we can essentially create more, right? My theory, and it's not my theory, it's a theory from that I picked up from Phil Jackson, basketball, sports, right? The Bulls and the Lakers. Zen, the more centered we are in ourselves, right? Within ourselves, the more in harmony we are with who we are, with where we are, the better we perform, and the more in sync we are with our team, thus the better we perform, right? And so yeah, it matters, man. Meditation, mindfulness, Zen practice, all of it matters before creating, right? It's not just something to do in stress where you got to breathe and no. Make that your practice. And so yesterday, right, as I've been doing this with Echoes for close to 5 years now, one of the brothers yesterday said, "Yo, your meditation always like gets me in the right place, man. It's like it's incredible." And I was like, "Yeah," and it's not even long meditation. He said, "Yo, if you gave a longer meditation, 20, 30 minutes, I'll probably come out a whole completely different person." And I'm like, "Absolutely you would." Right? Absolutely you would. And LJ is, I think, 21 years old. So yeah, that's powerful, man. Like to have that impact on these young people, something that I was not aware of when I was that age. I was 21 in prison. All right. I turned 21 in prison, 20, 21, and 22. Came home right before my 23rd birthday, 3 years incarcerated. And this is something that obviously, if I had then, I would not have probably got into the trouble I got into, which would not lead me here, right? But it's something that I'm grateful I have that I can give to these young people that they can use to navigate life, so they can, as my brother Ray would say, avoid the pitfalls that a lot of us fell victim to, right? Succumb to. So yeah. Yo, Jack, what's going on? Top of the morning. Peace and love. Good to see you. Eddie Kruger, what's going on? My brother Bam Tifa, what's going on, brother? Peace and love. Good to see you. Tamika Hall, what's going on? Sister brother Sefu Sankofa, peace and love, brother. What's going on? Listen, fam, let's get the show started. That is my 5-minute rant. Once again, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. You are tuned into SR Daily, episode 517 on this brisk Thursday, December 11th, 2025. Went for an early morning walk. I walked a little earlier. Feeling real good. I'm going to get a workout in when the show is over before heading to Queensbridge for food distribution. Grateful today. We are partnering with Healthy School Food and Sustain. Support and Feed. We're going to distribute about 150 vegan meals in Queensbridge along with the grocery boxes. So excited to see who they got food from. All right. Yeah, excited. Excited. It's a beautiful day. Let's start with today's first segment is a quote of the day. Today's quote is: the law of increasing returns goes to the man or woman that goes the extra mile. The law of increasing returns goes to the man or woman that goes the extra mile. The law of increasing returns. What you do repeatedly comes back to you, right? What you put out comes back. What goes around comes around. We've been saying it in the hood, in the street way for a very long time, but there are laws to this thing, right? The longer I live, the more I realize that some cliches are more than cliches, or they're cliches for a reason, because like it's a cliche and we say it all the time in the hood. What goes around comes around, right? What goes around comes around. What goes around comes back around again is a freaking song, right? And it's like, whoa, it's facts and it's scientific. The law of increasing returns. Increasing return. You do a little bit, it adds up and it comes back. Right? So go the extra mile, right? It comes back. It is specifically success. When we talk about success, increasing returns, right? On the positive side, go the extra mile. Do more. Do more. Right? Whether at your job, do more. Don't go to your job and hate your job and do it just to get by. No, if you're going to do it like you love it. Do it like you care about it. Do it like you're trying to get something out of it. Right? It said life, like, it's not about whether your job, whether a workout, whether life in general, relationships, whatever it is. It's not about what you can get, like, or what can you get from it? What can you get out of it, right? What can you get out of it? And that is based on what you put in. What you get out is based on what you put in. You put in a little bit, you half-ass it, you put in minimal effort, you're going to get minimal results. You're going to get minimal success. But you go the extra mile, right? You put in more work than you're supposed to, right? Then those results come back. And it's funny. So I've never really worked. I've worked a couple of jobs, but I haven't had a long-term 9 to 5 ever, right? 3 weeks Starbucks, 3 months Urban Upbound, 3 months. Well, I think the census might have been the longest. I worked for the census for like 8 months, from 2019, I think November, to 2020. Yeah, almost a year, almost like 8-9 months, as long as I ever worked. Yeah, I worked until the census. So whenever the census was, that's when my contract was over. All right. As a outreach supervisor. All right. But there are people who work jobs, who go to work, who put, like, they do the bare minimum. They have co-workers who go the extra mile, making sure the boss has the coffee, making sure like this is done and this is right, and they get upset. Look at them suck up. I've heard it, right? I haven't seen it. I never worked at the place long enough, but I hear the stories. I've read the articles, right? You see it, you hear it. And then the person who's been going the extra mile gets promoted, gets raises, gets considered for certain positions. And even if they're not there longer, right? There's a person who can have seniority, but they're literally just getting by. They're just doing the bare minimum. And they get upset that this person who came in after them is getting promoted, is getting raises, is getting considered for certain positions or bonuses, right? Getting certain level of attention that they're not getting. You put in minimal effort, you're going to get minimal results. Right. So understand that success requires commitment, not luck. This is not a lucky thing. This is not, somebody said, I remember when I got the residency with MoMA, right? And this guy who I was working with, and clearly we don't work together no more, but this guy I was working with at the time, he said, yo, man, you so fucking lucky. It was like, luck. Like, this is not luck. I put work in for this now. It's not something I applied for. It's not something that like draw the hat. I put work in, not just with MoMA, because it was random. Literally, I met the executive director at my fucking art exhibit opening in 2020. We had one conversation, like, what do you need? I said, space and money. She said, well, we got space, we got a budget. I'm going on vacation. Let's talk next month. We spoke next month, January 2021. By fucking March 2021, we had a contract and I had a 1-year residency, 2 studio for free at MoMA PS1 in Long Island City, right? That was literally a result of all of the years of work I put in. That's what that came from. I put in fucking work, like as an artist, right? Like blending art and activism, doing activism and transforming it into art, right? Having artistic ideas. Okay, how do I, right? And like executing that through activism. And then MoMA came out of that as a result, right? Success requires commitment, not luck. You ain't gonna reach your goals or live your dreams simply by dreaming, by hoping, and by wishing. No, you got to be committed, and commitment takes sacrifice. You got to be committed to your goals, and commitment takes sacrifice. So clearly, the question is, what are you sacrificing? What are you willing to give up to get what you've always wanted? What are you willing to let go? They said, in order to get something you never had, you got to be willing to do something you've never done. And in order to get something that you've always wanted, you got to be willing to let. What are you willing to let go? What habits, what ways, what attributes, what are you carrying that you might have to let go, that you're willing to put down, to let go, to step away from in order to get everything that you want? Your hands can only hold so much. Your hands can only hold so much, so you got to put some shit down so that you can get more. Sacrifice. All right, let's move right along though to our second segment of the day. Mona Love, what's going on, baby girl? Today's second segment is our need to know news of the day. Today's news, we're talking about more people dying from painkillers than drugs and automobile accidents. More people dying from painkillers than drugs and automobile accidents. So much data out there. We're going to read an article for 2022, but before we do that, we actually going to read just the numbers from 2023, right? It's the most recent numbers. Get smart about drugs. More drugs deaths than combined vehicle and firearm-related deaths. Drug overdoses claimed more American lives than did vehicle crashes or firearm-related incidents combined in 2021, according to data from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. While there were 45,404 motor vehicle traffic accidents, traffic deaths, and 48,830 firearm deaths in 2021. 106,699 Americans died from drug overdoses or poisoning. This is equivalent to 13.7, 14.7, and 33.7 motor vehicle traffic, firearm, and drug overdose poisoning deaths per 100,000 Americans, respectively. CDC further breaks down the 106,699 drug overdose or poisoning deaths, revealing that 80,000 of these deaths involved opioids and 9,173 involved heroin. Now, let's read the article. Synthetic opioids are an everything problem. They're a supply chain problem, an economic problem, a homeland security problem, literally an everything problem, a public health problem, a national security problem, right? Big issue, big fucking issue in our neighborhoods, man. Big issue in our society. Fatal drug overdoses, primarily from illegally manufactured synthetic opioids, right? This is important. This is important also that a lot of it is illegal, but it's still pain. People are still in physical, mental, and emotional pain, and they're trying to alleviate that pain, right? Have increased sharply in recent years, and they're not slowing down. Potent and dangerous synthetic opioids affect a wide range of policy areas and require a comprehensive response. Arnold Elia has been a paramedic since 1987. The past 2 years put a strain on first responders that he had never seen in all his time rushing from emergency to emergency. We had the pandemic with COVID, and then we had this shadow that kept following us the entire time. That phantom stalking Elia and paramedics across the United States was an ever-growing number of overdoses from opioids. In recent years, the numbers of overdoses from illegally manufactured synthetic opioids has jumped. As a leader at the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, Elia is working to stem this rising tide of deaths. He uses de-identified data from emergency medical services to zero in on overdose hotspots. It's part of a state program that helps first responders better target vulnerable areas. Elia continued to track the increasing fatalities from opioid-related overdoses, even as he shifted gears to help paramedics and emergency medical technicians respond to a once-in-a-century pandemic. Between June 2020 and May 2021, more than 100,000 Americans died from a drug overdose. This is more than twice the number of deaths from motor vehicle accidents or gun violence in that same period. About 2/3 of those fatal overdoses involved illegally produced synthetic opioids. The main culprit is fentanyl, which is easy to produce, highly potent, and when used outside of healthcare settings, potentially deadly. These drugs are fucking us up, man. Like, and people really get addicted. So let me say this. There was a point when, like, I found myself getting addicted to Vicodin. So I had herniated disc, pinched nerve down my right side, right? I was in excruciating pain. Taking regular painkillers wasn't working. My cousin worked in the clinic, gave me some Vicodin. I took it. It worked like sometimes. And then like the pain was real unbearable. And because of my personality, right? Addictive personality, I needed more. And I needed more. And I needed more. And I found myself just taking fucking Vicodin, like 2-3 pills, like 4 pills a day. I'm like, yo, this shit cannot be good. And again, I was able to thankfully like get off of that once I realized that the shit is not helping me and it's actually making me not feel good. Right? Like it's making my fucking stomach hurt. Like all of these pills is making my stomach hurt. Like I don't like how I feel. And I'm not, the back pain is no longer going away. It's just now impacting my stomach. And it may feel better for a few minutes, right? I take the Vicodin, take a couple pills, feel better for a few minutes, but then I'm in pain again. And now I found reaching for pills. A lot of people don't know this story. I found myself reaching for pills. I found myself addicted to Vicodin, addicted to painkillers. That wasn't even killing the pain anymore. And this is in 2010, 2009, 2010, about probably 2010. Yeah. And like I remember having a real conversation with myself, right? Remembering my PO, I got off parole 2008. My PO said that when he changed his diet, he had herniated disc. When he changed his diet, things changed for him, right? So now, fast forward 2 years, I'm off parole, right? I'm becoming addicted, probably like 2009. I think I stopped like January 2010, February 2010, right? I was like, get off these fucking pills. And I had a conversation with myself. I was leaving an event in Jamaica. I was in some pain. I was like, I can't wait to get home, take these pills. Right? I was on a bus. I was freaking, I couldn't sit down. I had to stand up the whole bus ride from fucking Jamaica to Long Island, right? Because I'm sitting down hurt. And I remember at one point, I think I got off the bus, I'm walking home, right? Back in pain, walking kind of sideways, like trying to find some comfort and just having a conversation with myself. Like, these pills ain't working. If I keep taking these pills, right? Because like my whole brain, like I was freaking just thinking about getting home to take the pills. I was like, it was crazy. Like I don't even think, I think it was an event at Occasions Banquet. I forgot what event it was, but I know that I wasn't fully present. Again, in pain, yes, but focused, like so committed. I can't wait to take these pills. And even as I thought about taking the pills, like I felt like a rush inside of me, and I was like, you keep taking these pills, you're gonna be really addicted, and like you're gonna look for other things, right? Other pills and other chemicals, and like you got to figure something out. And I went home that day. I got rid of the pills, and I think a few days later is when I started massage therapy. I was in pain. My uncle had some icy hot, and he was like, "Yo, I can give you a massage." And my uncle came in the basement, gave me a massage, put some icy hot on me, and then I started hot tub therapy. We had the hot tub in the house. Right, started hot tub therapy, and massage therapy. Started 2010, and like the rest is history. We haven't taken pills for pain since. Even as I fractured my ankle, they asked you want pain? Nah, I'm good. Like I can manage the pain. Practice started getting into meditation. I think after my uncle gave me the massage, I'm laying in the bed, right, and I'm continuing to just like rub my pained area, and I'm like, the spirit started speaking to me like, yo, you can heal yourself. You can heal yourself. All right, I think I went to the doctor probably a few weeks before that, and right, and I thought about it. My cousin who gave me the Vicodin, she had surgery, right, and I thought about that shit, and then got the massage from my uncle, laying in the bed, and yeah, you can heal yourself, and then that's what led me to saying, yo, hot tub, right, jacuzzi, right, meditation, right, mindfulness, right, like slow movements, and I don't walk sideways anymore. Right. Even when, I pulled a muscle last year in my back, right? It hasn't been as bad. I was able to still move around, still through things, albeit a little slower, but haven't been nowhere near the pain I was in 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, right? But yeah. That's just the point, right? Painkillers killing more people than guns and automobile accidents combined. All right, so be mindful of your people taking painkillers. Be mindful of you taking painkillers. Right. I understand that sometimes you may be in pain, maybe tooth pain, maybe some body aches, maybe some emotional stuff. There are alternatives. There are alternatives, right? Good people around you. Change your diet. Got to make some shifts in what you're doing, right? But you can alleviate pain, whatever it is, physical, mental, emotional. You can alleviate it naturally, right? So yeah, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you because I'm looking at the comment. My bad. You are effortlessly and intentionally handsome. Thank you so much. Eat the glory. What's going on? Peace walk. What's going on? What's going on? The fittest flyer. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Listen, let's move right along to our third segment of the day. Today's third segment is a tip of the day. Today's tip is building on the quote, right? The law of increasing returns. The tip is pretty much a reminder. Every single thing that you do adds up. Everything you do adds up. So be mindful and be hopeful. Every little thing you do adds up. Also, every little thing you do adds up. So this is both positive and negative. All the small positive progressive things add up. And on the flip side, all the small not so positive things add up as well. This is the law of accumulation, right? The law of accumulation, the law of increasing returns. Everything adds up. Everything matters. Nothing is, and this is something that, again, I'm glad I'm saying this because, like, as I'm getting into a mental space where I'm going to make a diet shift, right? I'm emotionally, I'm stronger now than I was a few weeks ago. Stronger now than I was, definitely last month. In a month before that, and emotionally, mentally working through some things, right? Like, okay, we got to make some adjustments, right? We got to just do things a little bit differently as we finish the month, right? As we go towards the end of the month, going into next year, I'll be 42. Things, I'm aging, right? My body is aging, right? Things don't impact me the same, right? Things affect me a little bit differently. Things are a little bit harder. They become a little bit more difficult, right? To burn fat, right? To lose weight, right? To build muscle becomes a little harder as you age, right? Absolutely possible. I'm doing the damn thing, right? But still doesn't change the fact that it does become more difficult. So all the small things add up. The stretches, the push-ups, the pull-ups, the resistance bands. But also what adds up, and this is my challenge, is the little bit of snacks. All right, the little bit of, sun butter cups, right? Sunflower butter cups, right? A little bit of ice cream, right? All of that shit adds up, right? Late night eating, that shit adds up. Adds up. Every little thing you do adds up. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's not that much. No, the shit adds the fuck up. Be mindful. Be mindful, be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. This is the law of accumulation. Every single thing that you do, positive and negative, accumulates. So just be aware. Just be aware. And yesterday in a meditation with the young people, I spoke about it on the show, the future you, right? Like have this idea of you in the future and do your best to live today with habits, with behaviors that are leading you there, not pulling you away from there, right? At no point in my future do I see myself as being a fat, overweight guy with a cane. That's not the future I see for myself. I see myself being very fit in my 80s and 90s, very fit, still walking, still driving, all of my functions. I see that for myself. My grandfather was pretty fit, right? Alcoholic, and right, but until his 80s, right, until he transitioned. Transitioned at 80. Well, how old was my grandfather? He's born 1921. He's born 82. My grandfather died in 82, and up until maybe the year before, and even the year that he died, right? The first half of the year he was able to walk without a cane, right? And then as he continued to fall and things happened, he was in the hospital, and then he needed a little more assistance. But for the most part, he was pretty, right? Again, crazy, batshit crazy. Right, had some mental challenges, right? Fucking World War II definitely had an impact on him mentally and emotionally, and he was definitely losing his mind. But physically, right, he was still pretty strong. Still moving couches and shit like that. That's me even healthier, even stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally, right? So if that's the life that I want, if I want to be 90 years old, 95, 96, 97, 98 years old, still able to walk, still able to run, still able to move things, lift things, still able to laugh, still able to hear, still able to use the bathroom on my own, then I got to do things today that contribute to that, not opposite. Don't think that you can, at any point, shift gears. Yes, you can do things differently, but the law of accumulation, what you do today will add up even as you make the changes. Even as you make the changes, it goes to somebody says, oh, there are people who go vegan and they still develop these illnesses. Number one, vegan doesn't mean healthy. I always say that. Two, just because you went vegan today, just because you eat clean today, doesn't erase the fucking 10, 20, 30 years of bullshit you put in your body. It doesn't, that's not how the fuck it works, right? Anyway, let's move right along to the fourth segment. Auntie said, yes, he was. He was a determined man. Yes, he was a very determined man. My grandfather is very fucking determined. Let's move right along to our fourth and final segment before we get out of here. DJ So Nice, what's going on, my brother? Peace and love. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you here. Let's move to our fourth and final segment of the day. Today's build of the day is a reminder. Your happiness, your success is your responsibility. Stop putting your happiness, the responsibility for your happiness, in the hands of other people. Not your husband, not your wife, not your baby mama, not your baby father, not your parents, not your children, not your children. Your happiness is your responsibility. Don't allow your happiness or your joy to be circumstantial. Right? Now, yes, there are going to be times when you're happy and times when things that people do make you sad. Right? Like, it's all up to you though. Is on you. So yes, those around you can create or influence conditions. They will influence conditions. Fucking government, right? Like fucking prices going up on shit, right? Like wars going on, right? Yes, it's going to impact conditions that you live in and with and under. But it comes down to your responses and your output, right? It comes down to your responses and your output. What are you putting out? Remember that in life, it's not what happens to us that determines the outcome of our lives, but how we deal with what happens to us. And then again, as I always say, deeper, my perspective is at this point in my life is not even life happening to me. This shit is happening for me. It's for my benefit, for my growth, for my ascension, for my elevation, for my fucking revelation, right? For my resurrection, right? However you want to slice it and dice it. As the old adage says, your attitude determines your altitude. So what is your attitude? What is your attitude towards the circumstances that happen in life? Are you regretful? Are you fearful? Are you, always cursing every single situation? Understand that every lesson is a blessing, and every blessing comes with it a lesson. So, like, feel, yes, always feel. I'm always going to encourage you to feel as deep as you need to feel, and you can't let anyone tell you when you should stop feeling something or what you should feel. That's on you, discernment, right? Feel deeply, feel fully, feel wholly, and move through those feelings. Remember that feelings are not facts. So feel, but don't stay in those feelings. Don't stay there. Don't dwell there. Move through them shits. Know that like tomorrow will come so long as you live. Keep stepping one foot in front of the other. That's how you get there. The law of accumulation, right? Like this is a perfect fucking tip. The law of increasing returns. Incredible fucking quote. All right. Adhere to these wisdoms. This is ancient, sacred wisdom that all of us have the opportunity to tap into. We all have the opportunity to respond differently. You are in control, right? Or are you not? Yesterday, sister said, I was speaking about this. Sister said, yeah, I don't know, man, because I used the example. I said, somebody call you ugly, we're conditioned to respond. We could be having a beautiful day. We could have had no plans for fighting or for being angry, right? Someone says, oh, you ugly. We are conditioned in this society to respond. Like, what? You ugly, call names back and possibly get into a fight. But what if we change the response? What if we don't respond with anger? What if we laugh? What if we say thank you? Right? What if we say thank you to everything that everybody does to us? Thank you. I appreciate it. All right? You don't got to take the gift. The sister was like, I don't know about that because, like, it's like, okay, then they're controlling you. I mean, what? If they can say something to get you out of the mood that you were in, to get you to behave and act in a way that you were not planning behaving, right? you have lost control. And so regain control. Your happiness, your success is your responsibility, no one else's. And guys, that is the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Auntie said I'm over here clapping so loud. Thank you so much. I love you, girl. I appreciate you. See you in a little bit. Listen, guys, that is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sefu said, great point. Be accountable for your happiness. Absolutely. Be accountable for your happiness. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Ray Marson. This is SR Daily, episode 517. Please do join us right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and, of course, Instagram Live. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. That's the problem. It's staying down. So get up! The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Peace and love.